Hi everybody, it's Heidi here for Riverside Crafts today. I'm going to let you all get settled in, so I've put the card on the mat so you can have a look at it. And we were going to be doing this one today, and I've got a couple of samples to show you as well that you can do with the stamp and some of the die cuts in the set, because it's a combined stamping and die cut set from Crafter's Companion. It's called Woodland Friends. So I shall show you a couple of other bits that you can do. Okay, get yourselves a cup of tea and sit down. Okay, so today we're going to be doing this card. I shall bring it closer to you. You can see. And the sentiment on it says, enjoy your day. So it's a bit of a generalised one, but it has other sentiments in the pack as well. So that's what we're going to be doing. And as I was saying before, it's called Woodland Friends, and there are basic stamps on their own in this collection. But one of the things I like are the stamp sets with die cuts. So this is actually, it's got a die cutting element and also the stamp set. They come in these packs and they are $14.99. And I think there's a couple of other ones in the full pack like this with different animals on. I think there was a squirrel one. I can't remember what the other one was, but I love deer, so deer's my thing to go to. So yeah, and I don't have a great deal of Crafter's Companion stamps. I tend to have more woodware because I do love a woodware stamp. But woodware at the moment are doing a few gnomes, and I'm not big on gnomes or rainbows either. I know it's very popular at the moment to do rainbows, but I'm not over keen on rainbows. It's not my kind of thing, nor are unicorns. But I mean, I did make a rainbow necklace, but that's about as far as I'll stretch it, I think. So yes, I do love the animal ones, and they have got a lot of different stamps in the animal ones, which I'm going to have a look at actually, and maybe purchase some for myself as well as showing you guys. So this is the pack it comes in. It gives you a couple of examples of what you can do on the back, which is always nice. And inside you get this, which is the die cut for the deer. So it enables you to cut the deer out as a whole, and also as a, where did I put my card? I don't know what they call this technique, but where you can cut out the side of your card so that it overlaps the inside part of your card. So it gives you those two techniques. And also there's one of the little sprigs of leaves that you can cut out as well. Now the stamps, absolutely gorgeous, and I have to say, really impressed with these stamps because they are, let me just get the cover thing for them. The outline on these stamps is really rather nice. I'm not very talented at keeping him within the lines. Sometimes I have a bit of a wobble and go out the lines, but these lines are not really thick, but they seem to be a little bit thicker than some of the other stamps I've used. So maybe the woodware ones, I'm not sure. But they did seem to be a little bit clearer marked, and maybe just that little bit thicker, so that if I did tiny weeny little bit went out of it, you couldn't actually see it because the line's a reasonable thickness. So here's, let me turn around that way, I think you can see it better. So here's the little deer, and it might be that way, no, that better. Here's the little deer. You've got a little mushroom at the bottom, or a toadstool. You've got 3 lovely sprigs of leaves, and then the words that you have on here, you have in one little piece 4A, and then you've got you are so, and you've got a combination of different separate ones. So you've got dear, special, friend, and to me. So you can have a special friend to me, for a special friend, for a dear friend, you are so dear to me. And then obviously you've got the enjoy your day as well, which is the one that I used on mine. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I made this card. So the first thing I did was I took a blank card and I measured out the interior. Okay, and I put a piece of this, I think it's linen. Yeah, linen. And actually, when I got it in the shop, Caroline convinced me it was green, and I kept saying it was grey, but it is kind of a greeny colour, and it's lovely. I love this muted greeny colour. So what I've done is cut it out, and I always glue, but you can use your double-sided tape or whatever you prefer onto the inside of my card. So when it's opened, you'll see this green. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my card over so it's flat on its face, and I'm going to stamp. Where's my stamp? Now, you're going to be amazed, guys, because the last time you saw my stamp deck, it was filthy. Caroline said I should clean it, so I did, and now it looks amazing. Initially, it wasn't looking so good, so I was a bit, so how are we doing? That's right. So I'm going to put it down, face down on my, and I even purchased some more magnets, which Caroline has in stock as well. And also I replaced in my stamp press, you have this foam that lifts up on the side here, underneath, which stops your stamps, you know, they're onto a foam surface rather than a flat, hard surface. And Caroline fortunately had one in stock, and I could replace that. So I did clean it all. And the trick was magic sponges. Hi, Jeanette. Yeah, magic sponge. It got rid of everything. There was, I have to say, back in the day when I first started doing stamping with this, I did stupidly use a bit of glue onto a stamp because it wouldn't adhere to my stamp press. I don't know why. I must have been doing something wrong. I must have been. But anyway, I used a bit of glue. So there was some glue on there, which I had to get off with a craft knife. But everything else, all the ink, white magic sponge. So when you go shopping next, pick one up. It is miraculous. And also for your acrylic blocks as well. Thank you, Riverside Crafts. Yes, I'm very impressed with myself. So I'm going to lay this down and I'll show you. So you can see there, she's on the edge. So this is the front side of my card once it's folded back down. And she's right on the edge there. Now, do leave a little tiny bit of space around her ear where it's going at the side of the card, because the cutouts piece, the die cut section, needs a little bit of space to go round it. Okay, so I'm going to stamp her on, and I'm using VersaFine Claire, which again Caroline recommended, and it's absolutely fabulous, in Nocturne. And this stamp, I just love it. It's just so clear. I just absolutely, and she's so cute to colour. You'll see when you see the samples that I've done as well. And she's just, I actually am addicted to colouring her in. She is so cute. Mind you, I do like deer, although I don't like Bambi. Upset me terribly. So, yeah. I've never watched it that many times. I've only watched it maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, because the first time I watched it, I was absolutely devastated. So, yeah. Don't like Bambi. Don't like people getting shot and killed, whether it's an animal or a person. It shouldn't happen. Right. Sorry, guys. Now, Caroline's made me OCD over my stamps. I'm being really good and wiping down my, oops, a daisy. Wiping down my stamp before I put it back. Now, whilst I'm, oops, a daisy. Go. Let's put that somewhere. Now I'm drying my hands, because this is one of the things that I tend to do, is my hands will be, oops, a bit wet or a bit sticky. They might have a bit of ink on them. I don't realise, and I put it all over my card and spoil it. So you can see here, we've got this gorgeous little, I don't know whether she's a fawn or a deer. No, I agree, Jeanette. I can't watch Bambi. No, I like happy films. Although, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Right, so with this, for this section, I'm only going to use this half of the die piece. So it's sort of like the front section of her body. If I was cutting her out in total, I would put this piece on as well, but I shall show you. So you have to line it up, and it fits. It's really clear the way it fits on. Where's my mask? Oh, low tack masking tape, perfect. If you've got ordinary masking tape, just, you know, pat it on your clothes and it'll make it lower tack so it doesn't start ripping up your card and stuff. So I'm just going to take this down. I want to be able to show you, so I don't want to put too much tape over the top of it. So, okay. So there we go. So now I've got that. Do I need to put this off? That's better. So you can see now I've got that die piece on. That's the shiny bit that's around her. So I'm just going to put this through my die cut machine. And again, I've got a brand new plates for my big shop because my plates had become extraordinarily cracked. I mean, literally, and that doesn't mean it's broken. It's just how it sounds. I'm just running it through a couple of times so I've got a nice crisp cut. And bring it back out. Yes, I've got, look, lovely clean plates. Because when I did my first one with it, it messed all my card up. It was not very nice at all. So I'm just going to take the the masking tape off. What on earth was that? So I'm aware of all these different sounds, and I have got my conservatory doors open, so I'm a bit worried of getting the cat bringing a bird in, but hopefully not. So, okay, so you can see that it's cut around this part of my little Bambi. So all I'm going to do is, now you could do this on a sliding, so on the, I have got one, it's this one, the woodware, on the woodware cutter, where you can position the blade, because you need to position it halfway down the card. But the easiest way to do it, and I'll just grab my ruler, and I'm just going to put a little mark from where the die cutting ends, and you just snip it out with your, there we go, and let's do that top one. Should have perhaps put a pencil on the table, that would have been good, wouldn't it, instead of a white pen, but hey ho. And then you're just going to, my hands are shaking, now let's start at the bottom first. Oops, daisy. So that's got that one out. Stop that barking dog. Okay, so you can see now I've cut the top, so I just cut here and just a little nick at the bottom there. And now when you stand your card up, she's actually resting. Oh, sorry, it was Crafty Lou. Caroline said she can't take the credit for the magic sponge. It was Crafty Lou that told her that magic trick. But yes, it's passing it on because it's invaluable. So there we go, she's all ready. And all I'm going to do now, I'll just do a little bit, I won't do all of it and bore you to death, but all I'm going to do now is I'm going to colour her in, and I'm going to do a wash over the back here. So I literally used like a very pale blue, which was Salty Ocean, but I watered it down a load from the Distress Ink range. And the top was, oh, what was the top? Lucky Clover. And I did a wash. No. The green one was at the bottom. That was Lucky Clover. And then the blue one was at the top. That's right. She's not in the sea. Was Salty Ocean at the top. And I literally watered them right down to give a whitewash effect. And then we have these beautiful, these are die cuts that we produce, and Caroline nimbly sticks them to the packaging, but I've had mine a little while now, so they're obviously not sticking properly. But it's what I would call slices of wood, or sorry, planks of wood, which fit in beautifully with this. I love the wood effect with this kind of thing. And this is what I made the little fence with. So I used, there's a thin one that you cut out, and it gives it a wood grain effect, and I used it, so next to her I made a little, oops a daisy, a little fence post like so, and then just trimmed off the edges, and then I used the smaller ones, I cut them in half, oops, and used them as the posts on it as well. And then I stamped a slogan, a sentiment on the top. So let me just do a quick wash. So we did Lucky Clover at the bottom. So I've got my Lucky Clover here, and I've got my acrylic matte thing. I think it's Tim Holtz, this one. I'm not sure. I know I've had it ages and ages and ages. And we have a massive selection of brushes, etc. Oh, I want a big thick one. Massive selection of brushes at the shop. All shapes and sizes. So do your wash first, because what I found with mine was that I got blended into it. I got browns from the Bambi sort of thing. So I probably should have done it this way before. I nearly put tea in it then. That would be good, wouldn't it? Give it a brown blooming colour. So just roughly, I mean, you don't have to be perfect with this. It's just literally giving it a wash. So you can see how quickly I'm doing it. And it doesn't matter then if it goes over your little fawn. Obviously you are going to go over the top of it with your standard colours on your... Blend it up. I don't know if anybody else has found this, but I don't know whether this is a standard thing with Tim Holtz dyes. Sorry, Tim Holtz distressings. Mine seem a little bit glittery. Does everybody else's? I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I shed glitter and it's just, yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Just the sort of thing I want to shed. Couldn't be tobacco or anything like that, could it? Okay, so maybe you can see just a little bit. So it's a bit of a wash behind there. Okay, so that's the green. Oops, tissue. So you can just wipe this off with a tissue. Just dip it in a little bit of water. There we go. And the colour we used for the sky bit was Salty Ocean. And it looks really, really scary. Look. But when you water it down, it's really like wishy-washy blue. So don't be scared. The other choice would have been, I think it's Broken China, but Broken China is so pale you can virtually, well, you can barely even see it when you water it down. So this one at least gives you a bit of colour. The alternative is you can stamp onto coloured card if you wanted to. It just obviously the effect of your painting might come out different. And I have to tell you guys, one of the samples that I've done, I used some wood, like real wood, and the inks that I used to paint with are absolutely amazing on wood. So who knew? I mean, I know they're brilliant on all sorts of different textures, and I know in the past when I've been doing like mixed media, I've kind of like used them directly onto wood to colour, but I thought that they needed like that intense colour. So there we go. We've got our background in, so it's all wishy-washy. And I'm going to put his little fence in. So let's just glue that down. Oh, and drop it on the floor, that's great. I'll just put 2 bars on this one. Not a problem. I'm not going finding it under the table. So, we've got the top bar in. And alternatively, I mean, you could obviously, you could do, use that little mushroom in the corner. You could make a little bush with the leaves, which is quite nice. Okay, so I love using my glue, so you'll have to excuse me taking a bit more time. There we go. Let me just trim those edges off. And I can show... Aha! Only problem with glue is obviously it needs a little bit longer. There we go. So we've got a little fencing, as you can see. So this one's just got 2 little crossbars on it. Okay, and then let's do a bit more stamping. So in the corner of our other card, oh, I didn't do it with that. I did it with my acrylic block. So I used my little small acrylic block, and I used, so first of all I want to put in a sentiment on my like log shaped piece. So use an acrylic block so you can see through it, so you know what you're doing, and don't use too big of an acrylic block as well, because it can make life really difficult. Now this one's, what have I done? Picked up the wrong one. It's a daisy. It's no good just putting "you are so." That's a load of rubbish. There we go. Just make it a bit straighter, otherwise I'm going to end up with it on the wonk. Okay, so can you see how clear it is, even on my, and I've got that end slightly, do check it before you stamp, it was sticking up slightly, and it's just so clear, I love it. Normally I would struggle with doing individual stamping, but so there's my little sentiment. Okay, and the next bit I'm going to do is using one of these little leaves. These are gorgeous, and you could actually build up like a, almost like a tree with these. And I'm just going to put them in the corner of my card. So one there. Let's take that over. Oops, smudged a bit, getting carried away. But never mind, that's going to be underneath my, where my sentiment's going, so that's not a problem. Thank goodness. You can always cover things up. It's a happy mistake. Right, let me turn it around and show you. Ink lid. So there, I've done a few leaves on it, and those I coloured in, I think I did them in Lucky Clover, no, Mowed Lawn. But they actually look really gorgeous in Forest Moss. So let me just, I'll stick my sentiments on. I just used one little foam pad. And look at me, I've got ink all over my fingers, and again, it's gone all over the card. I'm useless. So there's my sentiment, and then I can go back and I can paint the little leaves in and paint her in. And that would be her finished. Okay, and you can write your sentiment, your words inside. So that's her, and I shall finish her off later. Now, let's show you something else. So this is the one that I did last night, and she's on linen, and it does make it a little bit more faded, but I love it. I absolutely love it. And then you can see this part here is one of our wood slices that we carry in stock in the shop. They're not online, but they take the paint so beautifully. So I stamped the sentiment on there, and then I used the same way that I've just used my stamp and my little acrylic block. I just worked it around the edge and flipped it over to do, whoops, underneath, so it went in a different direction, and just a few little buttons sort of in the greens to match. So that's another way of doing it. And a bit of, this is just ribbon, Hessian ribbon, which we have down at the shop in a few different colours. So there's that one. And before I bought another set whilst I was down there. So they have this individual die cut, which I rather liked as well, and thought I'd like to try and do something with. And I got a bit carried away with doing other stuff, and so I just managed to do something quickly with it. And basically it does like an edge. So you can see here, that's the die cut. And like the little deer comes out from the side of the card, this does too. Okay, so the green bits that you can see is where it's cut out all these lovely little, you know, filigree flowers and leaves. And I just painted the leaves green. That's all I've done. But I will probably go back in and add some browns. And maybe I might even use some of my pixie powders, because they've got a shimmer to them. I would probably use some of their goldy and bronzy powders and mix them up and use them to paint with. I think also I probably would add some flowers around this edge. So whether I use, we have little tiny weeny acrylic flowers which would look nice on it, but obviously would be difficult if you're going to be posting it to someone. It's fine if you get hand giving it. But we also have like many dies for flowers, and also if you've got punches that we used to use massively before we got to die cutting, I've got some little tiny flowers that we did hydrangeas with in our class with Caroline at one point, and they make lovely little tiny flowers. So, you know, I think I would probably use some of those to build up round here to make it look more floral. And the other thing I thought would look good is if you had an image that you cut the whole image of the deer. So let me just position this so that I can show you. It looks so cute. So ignore the title bit at the top, you know, the sentiment. But if you had the deer coming out from behind the filigree, it would look gorgeous. I tell you what would look really nice. If you did that, you cut the same size as the card out of acetate and stamped the little deer on it to sit behind the foliage, and it'd be just peeking out. That would look absolutely stunning. So yeah, I think that would look really, really cute, looking out from behind the foliage, because they often do, don't they, hide. They don't particularly like to come out and see humans, so I think that would be quite sweet. And ignore that bit. But yeah, I think that would be quite cute. So I will, oh, that's my paintbrush is gone. I will finish this one off, and I will finish my other one off. I'll take photographs and I will post them, send them to Caroline so she can post them on the site, Facebook site. Okay, so distress inks are these little tiny ones. They do bigger ones as well, but I I collected the whole set. I think I've got about the new ones that have come out. I haven't managed to get those yet, and the little tiny ones. I'm not sure if they're available yet, but I've got the whole colour set. And a really good trick to do is I made myself, and stupidly it's upstairs so I can't show you, but I made myself, I got these sheets of watercolour card, and I did a splodge with, first of all I splodged with the ink pad directly onto the watercolour card, and then I used my paintbrush and painted a little bit so that I could see the difference in colour, but also I could see what it looks like, because it's completely different from what you see on the ink pad, what you get on your paper when you're using it as a paint. So I made this kind of little booklet up with all these pages, and it had the name of the ink, and then I splodged it down once, and then I wet and painted a little bit. And it's really handy because then you can have it in front of you when you're stamping a die, stamping a stamp. You can have it in front of you and you can look at it and think, right, okay, I think this colour's good for this part, and this colour's good for this part. So if you want to replicate the colours on the little deer, she's actually done with walnut stain, and the paler part is brushed corduroy. I used black soot for her hooves and her nose, and then I used a Pergamano, I think it's Pergamano, yeah, Pergamano pen, in the white pen, to put her little dots on. Okay, and the washes that I did, this one was Lucky Clover. So Lucky Clover was the grass bit, and Salty Ocean was the top part. And I'm just thinking I did a different one on that one, didn't I? Right? No, I didn't. That's cool. So yeah, and I used those same colours on the card and on the linen one as well. Okay, so I will photograph these and I will send them over to Caroline so that she can put them on the Facebook page so you can see them and you can, you know, make them bigger and check it out in detail. Okay, all right guys, so thank you for joining us. I'll be on in another 2 weeks, yeah, because I'm every 3 weeks, so another 2 weeks. I don't know what I'm doing for my next one, but yeah. Watch this space. So it was lovely seeing you all, and catch you again soon. Jeanette, that's my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. I don't know why anybody watches me, but yeah, you're amazing. Okay, thanks very much, people. Bye.